Good afternoon, and welcome to Conversations with Nancy J. And yes, I am Nancy J. Well, we're interviewing people that are doing amazing things. As I said, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. So welcome and thank you for joining us today. My guest today, I'm excited, is Miss Patrina King. Welcome.
Hello.
Good to have you on the show.
Glad to be here finally.
Yes. So you're doing a lot of different things. You're the golf lady.
That's what they call
You are
me these
Golf
days.
Women Mean Business. You do a lot around golf, and you help women as well as men if they want to learn about the game of golf and how to incorporate it in business. So
Yes.
tell us, who is Patrina King? You have done so many different things, and you
I'm
wear
like,
so many
what?
different hats. So tell us, who is Patrina King?
Okay, who is Patrina King? Depends on who's asking. So since it's you,
Okay.
So I am the founder and CEO of Golf Women Mean Business. I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Incorporated.
Okay.
I am the mother of one, married, all that good personal stuff, right?
Yes.
But in business, I teach women professionals how to use golf for business. And in this world, men are like, well, I want to learn too. Doesn't matter. So I teach them too.
Okay.
You know, if they're ever
You
bold,
don't discriminate.
no, and if they are bold enough to say, hey, you know, I want this too, fine. Because most men are like, well, that's Golf Women Mean Business, and you know, they just
got
don't
it.
even try. So, yep, that's what I do. That's me.
And so talk to us about how that came about, because that was a journey. I remember that journey about how that came about.
You
But
should
tell
remember it
people
well.
how
Yes.
that evolved and became a reality.
Okay, so it's a reality because of you. So we're gonna go all the way back. And so I started playing golf at the age of 5. Played golf throughout high school. Ended up with 36 golf scholarship offers. Most of those came through my dad because my dad is a golfer. He taught me how to play, and he had a bunch of relationships and still do, you know, through golf.
Right.
So in high school, I was the only female for a while. We had a couple girls that kind of just came along. Anyway, finished that off. I wasn't going to sign up to be miserable, so I did not play golf in college.
Did you enjoy it then when you were growing up?
Absolutely not. So, and that's because I was taught to compete.
Okay.
I was only taught to compete. If we stepped on the golf course, it's a beat down, period. Like, we're not playing around. If I lost, had to talk to my dad about what happened, you know.
Okay.
And my dad is a competitor today. He is 60-something, 66, I think, today. And he is like, he gets to the golf course, he'll think he's like 30 because he wants to still compete. I wasn't going to sign up to do that because I was playing with him, his old friends. They're smoking cigars. Now, my dad didn't smoke cigars, but, you know, it wasn't a good thing.
So it wasn't
for me.
fun for you. It was so competitive. It wasn't fun.
At all.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my friends, so where the golf course is where I grew up, my neighborhood was literally across the fence. So I can see my friends playing, and I'm over here in the golf course with the old men.
And
you
that
know,
wasn't fun for you.
at all. So I'm like, I can go over there, but no. So fast forward to college, went to school, paid my own way. Another story, a whole nother topic, another show.
Yeah.
But I had student loans and things like that. And I started my first company, ended up blowing an opportunity on the golf course, blowing it bad.
Blowing an opportunity.
Blowing it because I was supposed to have been playing golf with this guy to try to get to know him and get a contract. But I ended up beating him because that's what I was taught. And I didn't want him to think I was going to mess up. You know, like, golf tells you how a person is. You're not going to, if you're going to cut corners, you're going to cut corners on your golf game. I went by all the rules, everything.
And you played to win.
I wasn't
you
playing
been
to win. I just want to make sure we did it right. It just so happens he was bad.
Okay.
So I beat him. He never talked to me. And then, you know, that was a conversation that I think we talked about early on. And then you were like, Miss Nancy J.
Yes.
You were like, oh, well, you know, that's a niche. You know, women need to know how to play. And I'm like, not really. No, women don't want to play because I didn't enjoy playing. So I was projecting my own feelings out to people. And so you kept saying it,
Yes, I said there are parallels. I told you there are parallels to golf and business. And you're like, oh no, like I really don't want. I'm like, there really are some parallels to golf and business. I said that is a niche. You really need to look at that.
Yes.
And finally.
Yes, and it was great because you invited me to speak on your panel about the parallels between golf and business, right?
Yes, yes.
And that particular, my speech that day ended up being my business plan. And that's where Golf Will Make Me a Business came from.
But it's really important, I think, because you really do help women learn the art of what golf is, how to do it when you're on the golf course, but also how important it is in business.
It was the best thing ever because I nobody knew I played golf until then. Like when I say put golf down, they were like,
it was
golf.
It was another.
Yeah, like where did that come from? I'm like, oh, I've been playing golf. Like people would talk about golf and it was no big deal to me because I've played since I was a kid. But then I came out with the business and I started meeting women. I started seeing other women who wanted to play. And then my passion for teaching, you know, and it's not just swinging the club, it's understanding the game. Because really that guy that I played with, yes, he's terrible, but I mean, he had an ego issue too. But you know, it's just getting out there. Women don't get that type of time with those type of men in business. Right. You know, so showing them how that works, making it happen, seeing people do it, I was like, oh yeah, this is good. So it wasn't the best things ever.
And then the rules, because I think what happens sometimes is knowing the rules on the golf course.
Rules and etiquette.
That has messed a lot of people up in terms of the etiquette, talking to people. So you help people in that area because you may have an opportunity to talk to someone who is on the golf course that can be very influential in your business. But if you don't know the etiquette,
okay.
Then, and I'm glad you brought your book.
That brings me to this.
9 holes.
9 holes, 9 goals. So this book was created for that particular reason.
Okay.
So I'm the author of 9 holes, 9 goals.
Yes.
And this book was written because I was playing in a golf tournament. And this person had no idea how to do business on the course. On the course, on hole number 1, she started pulling out newspaper clippings, talking about her business.
No, she didn't.
Stuff. Like, you don't play golf and pull out newspaper clips. Where do these come from? Like, where do you put these?
Where'd you get that? Where did you learn that? Where did you learn that?
Right. So after that particular tournament, I went home and I put together 9 holes of golf. This is a beginner's guide to doing business on the golf course. The key is you don't do business on the golf course. You build a relationship there. Build relationships on the golf course. You don't do business on the golf course. You build relationships. And so this walks you through 9 holes of golf, what you do on hole 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9. And then the thing is, you don't look at this and do, okay, I'm on hole number 1 to do this. I'm on hole number 2 to do this. But if things get weird, you don't know what to do, this gives you some idea.
Because you still want to be natural with it.
You definitely
this is a guidebook to kind of help you know what not to do.
Yeah, it's basically conversation starters. And it's a short, like really quick read because especially corporate people, women, don't have time to read novels. Especially about golf, because it's not something that it's not in the front of the brain anyway.
It's not exciting.
Yeah.
It's not sexy. It's not something that
until you get in it, right? So yeah. So the back to your point, people blow opportunities not knowing what to do on the golf course.
So what has been? You've seen a lot of things, I'm sure, on the golf course. You're out there because you were teaching. You had a golf like an intensive. You were teaching women a golf intensive where there was like 3 days of training. Where you actually had in studying. Books studying the game of golf before they even went out on the course. So talk to us about the importance of just getting prepared before, even if you have this book, before you go on the golf course. What are some things that women need to be mindful of as they're working to navigate the game of golf?
So women need to be mindful that they can be themselves. As especially professional women who will play golf, normally because they have the discretionary income. We overdo it. We put on our representative and we show up like that because we do have to do better than men. We have to come out. But people play golf to get to know you as a person. If I have to see you in the office and see you on the course the same way, I don't want to see you on the course. I need to go be with someone that I can let my hair down and have a good time with. So that's one of the things. The second is you're going to have to take time. Women just in society, we have more duties per se. We have the kids, we have the house, we have the cleaning to do, the cooking to do, and things like that. But a lot of us are also trying to further our careers, grow our business and things like that. So we have to take the time. Golf has to be a part of that business plan. You have to put it in there. And that is a big thing with corporate. Like the guys are gone on Fridays, maybe sometimes Tuesdays. and the women are in the office working. We have to pull up. We have to pull up sometimes. So
and just taking the time to do it.
yeah,
Because we take care of everybody else. That is true. Women tend to be caregivers. They tend to take care of everybody else and do things for everybody else, but sometimes they don't take time for themselves. And I hear a lot of women who told me, I'm just not going to learn the game of golf. I just don't like it. I'm not interested. And so how do you, when women sometimes, I know you've heard that as well. So what do you say to that woman? Says, you know what? I can meet people other places. I don't need to learn the game of golf.
absolutely.
And so I'm not interested.
Yeah, so I'm not in the business of selling golf for sure. So that is not me. I'm there for people who want to, because I have this thing, BPP, believe, prepare, and persist. Like if you don't even believe that's what you want to do or believe you can, then it's not a point. And yes, you can meet people other places. I mean, you can meet people in lunch, but if your target market is on the golf course and you're still talking about you want to be somewhere else and don't want to do it, I can't do that. It's almost like no one can open your mind and pour it in.
Right,
you have to do it. So
I think the key thing also is that realizing that yes, we can meet people in a lot of different venues because most of us network a lot in Atlanta. We can meet people a lot of places, but a lot happens on that golf course. A lot happens, a lot of deals because you get to know people. You're playing 9 holes or 18 holes. You're with somebody for a very long time, for several hours.
And you get to see their flaws. So I can sit through a lunch with you just like this the whole time and smiling and selling you everything you want me want to hear. But if we get on the golf course and by hole number 3, you hit it in the water and I put it over the trees, we're kind of level at that point. We're going to laugh at each other and it just creates a whole nother level of comfort. You start to get to know each other better versus, again, that office person and that golf course person. It's just getting to know people. And then how do people act when things don't go their way? What if you don't even want to deal with these people? You find that out because my dad is one. I would never want to do business with my dad. Love my dad. Love him. But he will get upset.
He's different.
Oh, he gets upset. Like he will throw a club. He will, see, you don't want to do, but you won't see that in a lunch.
Right.
My
no,
dad,
not, they're going to be on good behavior.
Representative.
Yes.
That's what I call them. So, yeah.
So you get a chance. I know I've played in a few tournaments, and the one time I played, and I was like the only lady on the team, and I hit I got a hole in one. They're like, "Oh, you're really good." I'm like,
beginner's luck.
I was like, really? And I was as good as the rest of them, and none of us are really good.
Do you still know them today?
Yeah. But I wasn't any worse than they were.
No. Okay, here's the secret. If you're not good, if you can't play good, play fast. And you learn that in the rules and etiquette. After you can't sit out there just hitting the ball all day. Like people don't have, that's what gets on people's nerves. But if you're hitting and it's not going anywhere, pick your ball up, go sit in the cart or whatever into the next hole and pick back up again. So if you can't be good, be fast. Simple.
So you do golf. What are some other things because you have a HR background, you've done a lot of different things, and so golf is just one aspect, but golf has been a large part in the last few years of your life and things you're doing. So what are some other things that you're working on? Some other things about Patrina King?
So most of it is still golf related though. Like I am going to do, the podcast is launching in December.
Really?
It is coming. Mulligan Nation is coming. So I am the...
That's been in the works for some time.
2 years. So, I didn't hear that. Mulligan Nation is coming. So I'll be the host for that. And then also Mulligan Nation kind of describes everything that I do in golf. Like I teach people show people how to do business with the golf industry. I open up or what's what I'm looking for? Expose them to job opportunities in the golf industry, and and to me that's a mulligan. A mulligan.
Tell me what a mulligan. Some people are like,
is.
"What is a mulligan?" Okay, they're like, "I have no idea what she's talking about."
So a mulligan in golf is considered a do-over.
Okay.
Right. It's a do-over. However, mulligan is not in the official rule book of golf. So you will never see professionals take mulligans. It just doesn't happen. Mulligans is more for what we call business golf, social golf, play golf, fundraisers. You purchase them for extra funds and then you get to do that shot over, right? And so when it comes to the golf industry with the jobs and the business opportunities and things like that, it's really, if you never thought about it before, you can hit the restart button and come do it now. So that's what Mulligan Nation is about. That's why I do the industry jobs, the industry business. Everything is golf.
And I think because golf is traditionally, a lot of people have not been exposed to it. They just haven't. They haven't played it. Their parents didn't play it. So they're not really, they don't know a lot about it. But there's a lot of opportunity there because you recently had one of the first supplier.
It is the first ever.
Okay, the first
golf supplier diversity conference.
Yes.
Yes. And we had the industry, all the industry people really. You had the PGA of America, PGA Tour, IAGA, and International Golf Association. There's the Task Force 2020, Dr. Michael Cooper. He is responsible for being around the nation, really, just making sure golf is inclusive. And so all these people were in the room, and
yes,
you were in the room.
They were in the room. Yes, they were. They were in the room. The heavy hitters were there. Yes,
you were in the room.
I was in the room.
Yep. And so and really they were there to explain, what's happening in the golf industry. How do you deal with them? Oh, and the AJGA. Sorry, forgot about them. They actually have a program for youth. Well, it's not really youth. It's the young people that want to start a career in the sports industry. And even if you don't work in golf, you can still work with the AJGA and then, continue on with another golf career. So, yeah.
It was very informative in terms of just the opportunities that are available in golf. I mean, things they talked about in terms of the different avenues of how they can purchase services or products, et cetera. But just from the golf people that are in the industry being there and taking time out of their day to just share. I mean, it was great. And then, like with the golf group that you can start at an earlier age. And I think sometimes it's just the exposure.
It's definitely
because
exposure.
You had golf scholarships. 36, I think you said.
At least, because I don't, and I have to, that's a number I remember, but it was a box. And
wow.
I didn't care. Like, people are like, oh, well, where are they? My mindset at the time, I didn't care. That's not what I was
said, I want out.
Yeah, I didn't care about that, but yeah.
But that could have taken care of your education.
Oh, over
everything.
And over again.
But you just were like, because of the way competitive golf had just set you up for not really enjoying it.
Right.
And so for young people now, I think a lot of young people, it's great for them to get exposed to the game when they're young in their life in terms of, because let's face it, a lot of African-American youth are not exposed to golf.
Yeah, and that's really why I had the conference at East Lake as well, because even as the adults in the room never been exposed to golf, most of those adults never been to East Lake, won't have the opportunity to go back to East Lake. I am all about exposure, big time. And playing as a child or as a young person and growing up in golf, it makes it so much better. Because a lot of times you feel like you're behind when you get older and you got something to prove when you get old. And really, people just really want to play golf with you. It's really not that deep.
And you really play, some people talk about playing golf, but you really are out there. You were out there with your hats and your stuff. You were out there with your clubs.
I almost wore a hat today. Yeah, but I forgot we were going to be on TV. So.
But you're out there, so you don't just talk about it because a lot of times you actually play and you play well. Because you won a lot of. I've seen you play. You won a lot of championships. You've won a lot of little trophies and stuff out there.
I have to show people sometimes because I teach people how to play golf for business, which is non-competitive. And if you don't want to do it for business, do it for social. Non-competitive. So that means no one cares about your score. And so people think just because I am introducing people to the game that way, that I am that way.
When they get out there, they're like, she is for real.
I have to show them sometimes. So I'm like, I can, I turn it on and off. So yeah, I like to play. Every once in a while I'll compete, but I like to be in control of that. I never want to be like, okay, you got a tournament this weekend, this day, it'll bring back memories and do something.
And then you won't want to do it as much because you do it now when you want to, as opposed to growing up, you had to be out there with your father.
Like now, I like music on the course.
Really? So do you listen to your music in your headset or?
No, I bring a speaker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, my team, we have Dr. J, if you ever are listening, Dr. J has a nice speaker, and when he plays golf, he's got a boombox in his cart.
So is that golf etiquette? Obviously it is.
For fundraisers.
Okay.
That's fun golf, that's social golf, Sometimes business depend on who you know and what you're out there for. Now, if you're out there to try to get to know somebody for real business, you won't bring it. But like for fundraisers, when you're just having fun, absolutely. I like that. I bring music to my, now I can't do that with my dad.
Because who wins when you play with your dad?
Who wins?
You.
So he always puts me on his team, so we win.
Okay. So you're part of his team, so you're not on the opposing team.
And I help him, so it is not that he's out winning alone, And the thing is, he'll get in my head because he still fusses at me like I'm 7. Like I'll get on the tee box, and I'm getting, before I could even get set up good, he's already saying what I need to be doing. I'm like, and now I can turn around and say shh, but I couldn't do that before. So.
So, I mean, it's certainly an advantage, just to be exposed to that, because golf is just a non-traditional sport for a lot of African Americans. And I think it's critical that people be willing to open up your mind. As you said, the key word you said is exposure.
It is definitely
exposure.
I
think in terms of business, sometimes we need to be willing to expose ourselves to new things that make us uncomfortable, because we only grow when we're uncomfortable.
That's it.
And so when you're out there playing, because sometimes I've had people who ask me, do you want to play? I'm like, I've not practiced yet. I have not been with my coach. So no, I'm going to pass. Thank you. Because I'm not going to go out there. I read the book and I know how to talk the language. But if I've not hit the ball.
See, that's the difference between men. Men will say, I don't know what I'm doing, but let's go. Do you got some extra clubs? They could be, like the handles can be halfway together. You got cracks in it, but they want to get out there. Men don't do that. Women are like, we just have to be together, which is why Golf Women Mean Business focuses more on understanding the game before swinging the club. Yeah, because you can learn how to swing the club all day, but if you don't understand the whys and what happens next and all of that, then yeah.
So it's critical. So I did pass, so I guess I failed, because I'm like, no, I'll pass because I've not practiced. I need to get out there. I should have just said, yes, I'll go out there.
Absolutely, and do something well. So normally when you get invited, you are, it's going to be a group. Let's say 4.
Yep.
Do something well. You may putt well. You may chip well. You may hit it out of the fairway well. You may drive well. Do something well, one thing. And they can count on you for that one thing on every hole. Because a lot of the guys, they want to hit it really hard. The women are normally pretty good around the green, like the putting and the chipping, because it's not muscle man stuff. It's finesse. Do something well. That's it.
I have to keep that in mind the next time someone asks me to, do you want to go out on the golf course? I'm like, sure.
Absolutely.
I'm going to go out there and say, I got my golf clubs and everything anyway.
Yeah, and all you got to do is say, I don't play well. I haven't played in a while, but I'm going. And then they can tell you, oh, no, or yes.
Okay.
Don't go out there and say absolutely, and then they think you're about to go shut it down, But just be honest. It's really all about honesty. And you will be surprised at how many people will invite you out and be happy to play with you. Because you don't get better unless you get out there.
No, that's true. You can't. If you don't practice, you can't get better. If you don't practice. So tell people, how can they reach Patrina King? How can they reach you?
So Patrina King can be reached at pk@golfwomenmeanbusiness.com. That is so long. Or Patrina@patrinaking.com. Either one of those will work. My phone number is 678-861-4183. And my website is golfwomenmeanbusiness.com. And we actually have a new session starting.
So
we are taking the 3-day intensive and kind of condensing it, where business women don't have to actually spend 3 days at the golf course. You start the training online, and then we spend 1 day at the golf course, and then you get your business golfer certification. So our company is the only company who can certify you as a business golfer.
Wow.
So like, what is a certification? It's any other certification. It's saying that you are proficient in this area.
Right.
That's because women are not asked to play golf. Men are asked to play golf all the time. Women are not asked to play golf. And so when you have this certification on your website, on your LinkedIn profile, on your business card, oh, you play golf? I sure do.
It's a conversation starter.
It is definitely a conversation
and people
starter.
are like, well, you must be, if you get the certification, you know a little bit about golf. At least the premise is that you know something.
Right, that's what it's called, business golfer cert. You're not going on tour after this, right? But you're going to understand the game. You're going to understand the game, and you're going to be able to get through a round of golf if you want to. If you overthink yourself out of it, call me. I can talk you through it one time. But then if you keep doing it, then, let's email.
But I think the critical things what you're doing is that I love is that, you know, from the start when you first started doing it, is that I love the fact that you were exposing people to the game of golf and helping people realize just how valuable it is in terms of how it can add to whatever you're doing. It's only going to add to that in terms of a platform for you to meet people in a different format that can sometimes really change your career.
Big time.
Because sometimes some of the biggest deals, some of the biggest things that are going on the golf course. And again, her book, 9 Holes, 9 Goals. I mean, it's really an easy book. Set your goals. I'm like,
yeah, it's very easy.
I mean, let's talk attire, because that's something that gets a lot of people messed up. Is that attire? Dressing, you know, I asked one time, can I wear blue jeans? And you said, well,
that would be nice.
You were very polite. You might want to put on like some khakis or something. So again, I was like, okay, I get the message. Don't wear blue jeans.
Yeah, and the industry is changing too. It's being more inviting.
Right.
There are a lot of rules that are changing in January 2020. A lot of the rules are being relaxed. Something as simple as the flag. You no longer have to pull the flag out of the hole when you're putting. You used to have to do that. If you didn't pull the flag out, it was a penalty. So now you just play. It's weird for people who played before, but for new people, it doesn't matter. Like, you know, you just go and play. You don't have to worry about, oh, the flag's not in, the flag, you know. So that's one thing.
So things just keep evolving and keep changing. And so it is so important that, again, women have to be willing to step out. Men are doing it as well, but we have to be willing to step out as we go into 2020. It is so important to do something you haven't done before. I mean, go out there, try it. I mean, what have you got to lose?
Yes.
I mean, what have you got to lose? You can always contact Patrina. She is great at what she does. She can help you. She's good. She's good and very patient. She can help you, but it's important that you just get out of the boat. I mean, you got to get out of the boat. You got to try something new. It's a new year, new things, trying different things, and you want to do it the correct way. So if you're going to go out there, and she has a platform for golf, so she knows it's not just something that she talks about. She knows the game of golf. So it is so important that when you want to be with a pro, she's a pro. She might not be on tour, but she's a pro. She knows the game of golf. So she's very valuable and just a wonderful dear friend. And so I'm glad you were able to join us today on the show.
Thank you.
And so thank you for joining us today, Patrina King. It's my pleasure. So as we think about Golf Women Business, we had Miss Patrina King here with us. It's so important as you think about your life, as you think about the things you want to do, that you be willing to do something different. The only time you grow is when you're uncomfortable. So if you're comfortable in what you're doing, you're not growing. So I'm going to challenge you as you begin to think about 2020 is on the horizon. Everyone's thinking about what am I going to do in 2020? Well, if you want something different, you got to do something different. What got you here won't get you there. So I'm going to encourage you to step outside the boat, to do something you haven't done before, whether it's a hobby, whether it's taking a class, but do something you haven't done before. Expose yourself to new people. Work on building relationships. Relationships are the critical piece. Relationships have power. Relationships open up doors. So I want you to this year to think about, as you go into 2020, how can you build strong relationships? How can you nurture those relationships and everything? So I want you to be blessed. I want you to be intentional. And I want you to make sure that you do everything with purpose, passion, and heart. God bless you. See you next week for Conversations with Nancy J.